They say you should do one thing every day that scares you. Yeah, that sounds nice. Until I realized I would rather die than do some of the things that scare me. Bungee jumping? No thanks. Deep diving into the ocean? Did it? Don't really want to do that again. Public speaking? Ugh. And guess what I just signed up for? Yeah, my idiot brain said yes to speaking at a huge conference. Hello everyone, introduce speaker, introduce yourself. Today, we're gonna talk about the topic that, I don't know what the fuck. No idea what I'm. You know, that was just such an interesting point that you made. Don't ever say that. Don't ever say that. This is so dumb. So I should start figuring out how to do this. Look, I know what you're thinking. Oh, she's got to be the type of person that thrives in high pressure situations. In reality, my life mostly looks like this. You responded to my video about social media and video production. Yeah, that's me trying to build a creative business from home. That in and of itself is scary every single day. But you know what actual business owners and leaders have to be really good at? Public speaking. Every time I get invited to speak, my stomach drops. Doesn't matter how many times I've done it, doesn't matter the setting, even if it's just client presentations, a podcast interview, some sort of conference, every time it gives me anxiety. Speaking in front of a crowd scares the living hell out of me. But I always say yes. I don't second guess it, because honestly, getting really good at communicating makes you a better employee, it makes you a better creator, a better business owner, it makes you a better partner, a better friend, the list goes on. So it's really good for you and everyone around you. And working at trying to be a better communicator is a non-negotiable for me. But the question is, how do I build the confidence to stand in front of a crowd and give a speech that I wrote that has to give them value and that has to make sure that they're interested the entire time? I mean, basically, I just have to do it. There's no shortcut to getting better at this. I just have to get up there and go through it, and it's definitely gonna suck. I'm gonna document here exactly how I'm preparing for this speaking gig, my process to coming up with what I'm gonna say, how I'm gonna handle my nerves, and all of the overthinking that comes with it. And hopefully in 21 days, when all of this is finally behind me, I will feel a little less terrified, and hey, maybe you will feel a little less terrified about public speaking, and maybe we'll be motivated to do more. So that's what I hope I can do in this video. So let's get to work. But first, let's go back to that moment. So here I was, a typical day at my desk, working on my content agency, and in the middle of a client meeting, I got this message. Hey Haley, it would be an honor to have you as our speaker for the 1 Billion Followers Summit 2025. Oh shit. Okay, this is my initial reaction to any opportunity that I receive that might actually terrify me. I usually need like a minute to process it, and then I just respond yes and commit immediately so that I don't overthink it. All right, let's do it. Immediate regret. And so I went into full meltdown mode. Can you fake your own death to avoid public speaking? Which was followed by the bargaining mode. Pros, great opportunity. Cons, want to die. Oh my God, these are actual heavyweights. And so naturally, I went back to my own content to see how I sized up against them. Why do I talk like that? Which had me nitpicking every single thing about myself. I'm an idiot. And that's how I, an anxiety-ridden creative introvert, end up speaking at the biggest content creator conference in the world. Okay, step one, panic. A little, a lot. Then we can get to work. So now I have about a month to go from mildly articulate to someone who's worthy of being on stage at the biggest content creator event in the world. No pressure. Okay, let's actually get to work. Okay, preparing for any kind of speaking gig can feel like there are so many different puzzles. How are you gonna make them all fit into one perfect little piece where the conversation flows naturally, your audience stays interested, and it doesn't feel like you're just kind of robotic? So for me, the best way to get a handle on all of this is to get super organized and break down everything into simple steps. Simplicity. There are 6 important steps for this. Step 1, know your audience. So obviously you have to know who you're speaking to. What can they expect learning from you? You kind of want to get inside their head. So now it's time for me to do research and try not to get overwhelmed, and also don't Google random shit. Good research, watching past talks, get a good feel about the conference vibes. Bad research, Googling how to not sound dumb on stage. So I know I'm gonna be speaking to creators, and I also know that I'm gonna be interviewing one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. He has over 70 million subscribers, and this talk is gonna be on the main stage. Great, no pressure. So now I'm gonna watch as many of his YouTube videos as I possibly can, because the more that I know about him, the smoother this conversation will go. This is just called doing your homework. So I binged his YouTube videos, collabs, interviews, scrolled through Instagram, TikTok, literally everything I could find I watched. Is this overkill? Probably, but this is how I cope. My anxiety is saying consume everything you can. Let's just move on. Step 2, figure out the main message and the goals. This is just about finding out what the main idea of the talk's gonna be. Here's the thing, your audience is not gonna remember every single thing that you have to say, which is pretty encouraging to me actually. So think about one main takeaway. This was the only time I got on a call with Herman to figure this part out, so we were both clear on what our interview conversation would be centered on. So for this interview, we're going to inform creators on how to build long-term careers. We also want to entertain them too. So good messaging, focused talk with smooth flow, serving that one goal to inform and entertain. Bad messaging, a rambling mess, not focused. Step 3, structure the conversation so that you have a good flow going on during the talk. This is just about making a roadmap for the talk. Since I'm doing an interview, I'm gonna focus on establish the guest, set up the problem, unpack what he did to solve the problem, end with a good takeaway. Even in an interview, you still need to know the beats of the story. Also, just don't overdo it, pick a structure and stick to it. I know this has been a lot. Drop a comment if you're still with me. Let's move on to visuals. Normally this means that you create some sort of slideshow with it, or maybe you have props. But in this case, since I'm giving an interview, we don't need big visuals. But since we're on this, here's my rule about visuals that you put on slides. If you have a bunch of text on your slide and you're just reading off your slide is trash. Bad visuals, too much text. Good visuals, minimal text, high impact pictures. Use visuals to show, not tell. And since I'm interviewing someone on stage, we become the visuals. The audience absolutely needs to be a part of the conversation too. All right, we've got the prep, we've got the message, we've got the visuals, T-minus 10 days until stage. Now it's the most important step. Step 5, this is what separates the pros from the amateurs. Practice your delivery. Rehearsing the material in your head doesn't make it real, it changes when you say it out loud. I personally don't like practicing in front of a mirror. I think it's really awkward. I just end up staring at myself and that's not helpful at all. I actually like practicing on video. This is a fast way to catch bad habits like filler words. I'm so bad at that. Awkward pauses, hand gestures, like I go crazy with my hands. I need to calm that down. Even though I'm giving an interview, I still have to practice my questions. I'm kind of leading the whole flow of the conversation. Everything has to feel like a natural conversation. And in order for me to make it feel natural and comfortable, I gotta rehearse it. And finally, step 6 is managing the damn nerves. This is what happens when I get in these moods. I sulk. Typically I cry, but I feel so dead inside that that's miraculously not happening, but that's usually what happens. Maybe I go on a walk or I go do something like the gym, but my mind is still on the thing that I need to do. My anxiety is through the roof right now. Mindset is like 95% of the battle. I can do this. I can fucking do this. I know how to do this. Let's go do it. I can stop, get out of this stupid, debilitating, really shitty, selfish, pointless mood. The problem is nerves are just part of the game. You can do all of the preparation in the world. You could even memorize your speech and you're still gonna get nervous. This is not my first rodeo with pre-talk panic. I just have to tell my stupid brain to calm down. I've done this before. I'm just freaking myself out. It's gonna be fine. I just have to show up. That's it. Let's go do it. Let's go. You got this. One thing that really actually calms my brain.
Where's your final destination today?
Dubai.
Dubai?
The airport routine. Check in, walk a lot, security, find the gate. It's all motion. I kind of just black out and follow the signs, and it just shuts my brain off in the best way. First time ever, they flew me Emirates business class, which made it easy to forget I was spiraling about a giant stage on the other side of the planet. I've got 16 hours ahead of me, and this has been the calmest I have felt in weeks. And that is why I always travel with earplugs. When I landed in Dubai, it kind of felt surreal. It was my first time in Dubai, my first time seeing the Burj, and weirdly, the nerves hadn't followed me. Probably because arriving in a new country is like my own kind of high. And usually I'll just dump my bags and immediately head out to explore. But this time, the closer I got to the hotel, I could feel it coming, that creeping anxiety. So what did I do? What any completely unhinged, sleep-deprived, anxiety-riddled person would do. I opened my laptop and started practicing. The next day, the conference kicked off, and the first headliner speakers were so good, like really good. For a second, I felt that old imposter syndrome creeping in. You know the one. Like, what am I even doing here? But then I was like, no, I am here. I got this. And instead of shrinking, I weirdly got fired up. It was the first time my nerves turned into actual momentum. Also, my brother was there too for a totally separate talk. We were scheduled back to back, same day, same stage, different talks. And I don't know why, but just knowing he was in it too made the whole thing a little less terrifying. Later that night, I did what I always do when I feel out of control. I tried to outwork the panic, ran through the transitions, tried to memorize stuff that should probably not be memorized, which in an interview setting is not the move. I started feeling fake, like I was trying to script something that's only good when it's natural. So eventually I stopped and let it be whatever it was going to be. So this is the part where I'm quietly freaking out. I'm trying to keep it together without making it obvious that I might be spiraling again. This is the worst part, the waiting. I opened Instagram for like 2 seconds and I immediately felt worse. So I grabbed my notes, not because I needed to review anything, I just needed to do something with my hands. Mic'd up and I'm waiting for my stage partner. As soon as he shows up, we're gonna get this show on the road and get on stage. Then the door opened and Herman walked in.
Oh, we made it. It's rainy today. Rainy. I love it. Yeah.
It was a nice walk.
How are you?
Good, how are you? My partner is here. We're in the house.
We made it. Yeah, we're excited. Let's go.
We hadn't met in person, and within like 5 minutes, I was laughing. Herman was so kind, so chill and easygoing, the kind of person who's just easy to talk to. And I felt the energy just totally shift from there. My nerves didn't disappear or anything. They just started to get quieter because I was distracted by good energy. And for the first time all day, I started feeling like this might actually be fun.
Backstage pre-talk jitters. Haley is showing zero signs. She looks like she's having a lot of fun. A lot better than me. I don't know. I could barely stand still without shaking. She looks like she does this for a living.
How
are you guys feeling? Are
Hey,
you
how's it
nervous?
going? Not yet. Not yet. Are you nervous?
I was nervous, but I feel like I'm just really good at having a conversation, and that's what we're gonna go and do.
Yeah.
No, I feel like you're chill because you're talking to each other right now.
Yeah.
Where, like, before going on stage, if you're not talking, it's scary. If you're just standing here. But because you guys are chilling, it's like, oh.
You're overthinking everything, you know? Yeah.
Hey, just have fun.
It's a conversation. That's the thing. If we have fun, it's just fun.
That's it. Have fun. Everything follows.
Yeah. As soon as we get there, we're gonna be like, okay. This is so fun and so inspiring.
By the time we got out there, I wasn't even scared anymore. I wasn't anything. I wasn't overthinking. I didn't freeze. I was just finally doing the thing that I set out to do.
Continue creating, continue moving forward, regardless of how we're feeling. We have to keep doing it. And so I imagine that you don't have too hard of a time coming up with ideas because you're constantly pumping out content.
Yeah.
When you are in this position, how do you manage those moments? Like, do you have rituals or practices or things that you do to keep yourself going regardless of how you're feeling?
And then it was over. This is what happens when you say yes before you feel ready. You're never going to feel ready, but you show up and do it anyway, even if it feels like the scariest thing in the world. And eventually, it doesn't. I finally have a moment to myself. I just walked off the stage at the 1 billion followers summit, and I'm feeling a mix of relief and pride. The hardest part for me about facing any fear, especially public speaking, is the anticipation of it all. But the thing is, I prepared like crazy. It took me a lot of time to come up with questions because I didn't want to veer towards the basic questions. Of course, there were things that we touched on, but we got a lot more in depth and a lot more specific. But even this morning, when I got up and I kept rehearsing the questions, I just kept reminding myself that I have done my best and I've prepared as much as I possibly could. Meeting Edaman 20 minutes before we were going to go on stage and being able to speak freely to him and just talk to him and get a conversation going, that really calmed my nerves. And that made me realize just how important it is if you're going to be interviewing someone or even moderating a panel, doing any kind of public speaking engagement with someone else, you want to focus on trying to get them to feel as comfortable in front of you as possible, as quickly as you can. Another thing I realized after this talk was just how important it is to keep your audience engaged. Throughout the talk, I turned to the audience and I spoke to them quite a few times, and I tried to make them feel like they're also part of our conversation, and it wasn't just these two people up on stage, you know, having a one-on-one. And the feedback and the responses afterwards we got as we were walking off stage, the talk ended, was incredible. Like, the applause was huge. The head of the summit, her name is Fatima, she came up to me and told me that I woke up a sleeping room. And as we were walking off stage and back into the green room, there were just so many people that came up to us and said, "That was such a great talk. You did so well. You crushed it." And that feedback is so encouraging. But I think one of the best moments came when I walked back into the green room and Simon Squibb was standing right there. Simon Squibb is someone I really admire. He came up straight up to me in the green room and he said, verbatim, "You have this infectious aura and I believe you are going to go so far in life. What can I do to help you?" And that was so humbling. Looking back, the anxiety that I had was all in my head. The actual experience speaking on stage in front of hundreds of people with the bright lights on you, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And now I'm really excited to take on more speaking gigs. It wasn't easy, but I'm so glad that I said yes, because it's gonna get even easier the next time. I think this is a great place to end this video. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments or anything, please leave them down below, and I'm so glad to be back. See you next time. Bye.